All right, well, welcome everybody in. For you guys watching live or watching on the replay, my name is Tyler Hoyt. I run Fast Break Digital Media. We are a marketing and consulting agency working with home service contractors to help grow their business. And this is kind of our flagship process that we've built out with multiple businesses already to help them get to 6 to 7 figures and beyond in the time that they've worked with us so far. So this is our 7-figure home service blueprint. It's tested and proven. We had to build savages out there in the field. It's tough out there, but this process is proven to work if it's followed. So what our goals are for this is most of you watching this are some sort of earlier in the business, or even if you have been in business a long time, maybe you're somebody that wears a lot of the hats or does a lot of the work, and you're trying to juggle being a business owner with being the laborer, with being the estimator, with being the salesperson, all that stuff. You're trying to juggle it. So we call that Mr. Wear All the Hats contractor. That's where a lot of people are right now. And this is kind of in the first 5 years of business, this is hard to go through because a lot of people lose their business in the first 5 years because they never get out of this. So what we want to do with this 7-figure home service business blueprint is we want to take you from being Mr. Wear All the Hats to putting a small team in place, learning how to hire so that you can get out of the field and continue to work on the business and not in the business by hiring, obviously employees and laborers, but even office admin staff, setters to help you book appointments, closers to come in and actually sell the job. And maybe you are just managing that team, or maybe you are the closer for a little while, but you have some people in place to get you your time back, but to increase your productivity, because we know that if you can laser focus on one thing and and instead of being 5 places at one time, you're going to be a lot more productive and make more money. So that's kind of the second step. And then transitioning into Mr. $1 Million Business CEO. At some point in your business, if you're running a business, no matter how big you want to scale, you have to operate like a CEO does. And CEOs do one thing really, really well, is they delegate things. They manage teams and they delegate, okay? And so it starts with a mindset. We're going to go over that here in a second, but to get to that level, you have to go through the steps first. And what I see a lot of times is too many people try to go from, I just started a business, to I want to manage the business and not do anything else in between. And they start to fail. They start to, get behind on payments, or, get into debt, or, their marketing never takes off and stuff like that. So that's kind of the path, the easiest way I can put it, but let's kind of jump into what this thing looks like here. So the first thing we're always going to do is we're always going to start with the business. When they come to me and they say, hey, I want to do X, Y, or Z, whether that's bring in more leads, I want to hire more employees, I want to grow the business, all that good stuff, we're always going to start with their mindset, because mindset is the most underrated thing in business, okay? Obviously, me running this business, I've had to learn a ton and battle through a lot. And I'm sure all of you have had to battle through a lot of things to get where you're at, right? And continue to battle through things every day. So we always start with mindset, and mindset is knowing that, hey, if you're a young business owner, before, first, second, even third year in business, it's going to be a hard road to get to there, right? If you can get to that 5-year mark, you're going to have a lot of success in the future, okay? It's hard to get to that mark, 3 to 5 years. But it starts with mindset. It starts with, one, being a learner, right? Being an open learner and taking advice from other people. It starts with learning from mistakes, like making mistakes and being an action taker to go out and make those mistakes, but also learn from them and continue to get better. And it really, what it comes down to is just being a growth-based mindset. Understands that things can be learned, things can be trained, but it's not going to be easy. And fighting through that stuff is going to be vital to you growing, okay? Because there's going to be roadblocks at every step of the way. We're going to go over a lot of those roadblocks in this talk here. But you have to have a bulletproof mindset to say, hey, I can't base things off of this one event. I can't base things off of even 1 month. Like, we have to look at things from a very wide lens approach, right, when we're business owners. So we always start with mindset. And the easiest one to start with is kind of like marketing. When a lot of people come and they think their problem is leads. And the first thing is maybe it is, maybe it isn't. You probably have a lot of other bottlenecks and roadblocks in the business that we can fix. But we're going to look at, okay, how do we actually go get more clients first, right? And mindset is everything in this, because that's a hard thing to do. You're going to have to compete for sales. You're going to have to compete just for leads sometimes. What kind of mindset do you have? Are you willing to take a lead and follow up for a whole year just to book them, right? If you can do that, you're going to be a successful person. And a lot of our clients that have followed this process text me every single day and say, hey, I just closed another $40,000, $50,000 job from a year ago, right? Because they're so good at following up and they have bulletproof mindset to say, hey, any lead that comes in is not a dead lead ever. Okay, one of the most important things I ever heard was somebody said, hey, every lead is a good opportunity. That's all leads are. They're opportunities at the end of the day. They're not going to be people that are ready to buy all the time, right? They're opportunities to go sell your service, which you're a passionate person, right? You're passionate about your service, right? So it's an opportunity to go sell your service, right? And you have to approach that from a standpoint of no lead is a dead lead ever, right? Even if they went with another person, we know that that person might not be the best contractor, and maybe they went with them because they're cheap. They're probably going to need work done in the future. So we have a great follow-up system, which we'll get to later, right? But just saying mindset is everything. We have to start there. You got to invest in reading. You got to invest in learning. Got to go to conferences. Got to hire mentors. I think the biggest thing for me is hire a mentor. That's what I could tell you about mindset. I have 2 coaches of my own who I talk to all the time about stuff like this. And just having a mentor, having a coach that can guide you through specific situations is absolutely key. So we're going to start with mindset. We're going to audit your mindset. Okay. We're going to determine, do you have what it takes to be a business owner? Mindset wise, mentally, are you ready in your life? Are you in a place where you can be a business owner, right? Because that's long hours at first, right? That's not a lot of pay at first, right? That takes a lot of dedication. So if we don't, let's go audit our mindset and let's go develop that 7-figure business owner mindset. Like, let's get to there first, okay? So that we can equip you with the proper mental capacity to say, okay, we're going to go full bore ahead and scale this thing. Okay, so we always want to go into our 7-figure business mindset. And then when we develop that, we revisit. We always revisit everything. Okay, so business owner mindset, we didn't have it. We're going to develop it. Now do we have it? Yes. Okay, let's move on to the next thing. A lot of times, the first bottleneck in somebody's business is leads, right? Instead of marketing, most of them either rely on word of mouth, or they do their own marketing, or they refer like just referral stuff. It's not always, yes, that might work for you, but it's not a sustainable product. It's not a sustainable system, right? You have to have a great marketing system in place for longevity in your business. Okay, so we're going to audit your current marketing plan. What are you currently doing? How are you getting leads? Where are you getting from? Right? And we're going to say, is this an actual optimal marketing plan for what you're trying to do? Because we're always going to keep end goal in mind, right? Your end goal, again, is to go from wearing all the hats, right, to being $1 million business owner, right? And so we have to say, end goal in mind, is this a marketing plan that's going to build a 7-figure CEO? If not, we have to go build a tailored marketing plan for you. Okay, so, or we could place a VA for admin stuff, all that good stuff, right? To do social media content, any of that stuff. We come into businesses and we say, what do you need most here in the marketing plan? Okay, let's go ahead and place this into your business, these systems, right? And so this might look like Google ads. This might look like Facebook ads, right? This might look like, like business, Google My Business profile stuff, right? This might look like social media content, where we're putting a VA in your business, right, that is going to help you with that content and push that content out. Okay, so again, do we have a 7-figure marketing plan? No. Let's build it out and make sure we do. Okay, now let's revisit. Now do we? Yes. Okay, let's move on to the next thing. Okay, so after that, the next thing that already happens, and I want to say that I've done this so much that I already know where the bottlenecks are going to start to stack up for you guys, right? And now some of these might jump around, but mostly, right, mindset issues turn into, okay, now we have a good mindset. How do we actually go do this? And then marketing issues, leads issues turn into sales issues. Okay, so now we're on the sales process. So we got to go audit your sales process. Okay, and this is where I see a lot of times we have to go back to mindset on this, honestly, because people that deal all day with referral, word of mouth leads, that's not a hard lead to close. Right, I'm just gonna be straight. Like, you guys probably close that at 70, 80% because they're just teed up on a silver platter for you. In reality, marketing long-term does not look like that. When you're reaching new audiences, you're never going to get people that are like, yep, let's do it. Not at volume. Okay, there's going to be a small group. You have to remember that about 97% of your, about 90% of your market is shopping at any given time. Only about 3 of those 10% that are shopping are ready to actually buy. Okay. So we have to get really good in order to grow a business and scale a business. We have to get really good at reaching the remaining 8 or 90%, right? And so we have to have a great sales process in place, right? This comes with follow-ups. This comes with speed to lead. This comes with knowing how to ask questions to lead people into sales, right? And so we have to audit the sales process and say, you know, well, like it or not, guys, like your business is like 90% sales. At the end of the day, like you have to sell a product to actually go build the thing. So you have to get really good at sales, right? And so we always look at, okay, let's audit our sales process. And our marker for this is close rate on cold leads, okay? Don't really care if you can close a warm lead. You probably can. Most people can. Can you close cold leads over the course of a period of time, right? And so we say, how good are we at this? If you've never done it before, we're automatically going to go to here. If you have, and you're like, I'm at 80%, you could prove it, we'll move on, right? But we're always going to look, okay, so most of you probably know. So we're going to go into our pipeline management training and our automations to help you book more calls. Okay, our pipeline management and automations are going to send text messages to leads for you to help you book more calls and get the conversation quicker. Okay, that's going to help automatically enhance your sales process. Things we could do beyond that, right? We do sales training where we come in and we train either your sales rep or yourself on the best practices for selling to cold leads, right? We've done this. We've seen thousands of leads come through our desk, right? From all of our clients. We know the ones that close and how they closed, right? So we've built processes out that show, you know, the best way to actually close these people, and we give them to our clients, right? And so we're going to do some sales trainings. If this requires us to come in and place a setter in your business to say, hey, I can't get to these leads quick enough because I'm actually in the field as a laborer still, right? Let's place a setter in your business for cheap, right? To handle the leads so that the leads that you actually get are the ones that are actually going to most likely convert. Based on your qualification system, let's place a setter in your business to qualify these leads quicker, right? So that 1, we're reaching them quicker, 2, we're qualifying them quicker. And now your job is to go out and actually sell the job. So we're taking things off your plate. The last thing we do in the sales process, if we needed to, is eventually go get a sales rep, right? If you just suck at sales, and it's okay to do that, right? It's okay to be that way, right? It's not everybody's strength all the time. And so the best business owners identify their weaknesses and they hire people that are better than them in those areas. Okay, so going out and getting a sales rep with experience in construction or hardscape or whatever you do, HVAC, roofing, all that stuff, we're going to go ahead and see if we can place them in your business to help you close better, because all of this is going to turn into profitability. Okay, so after we're done auditing the sales process, we're looking at this stuff and we're saying, what's our close rate on cold leads, right? Okay, let's try to put this in to make this better. No, okay, let's try to put this in to make this better. Once we have an optimal close rate, and this one could take a while, guys. This is not a, you know, this process looks short. This process could be over the course of a year or two, right? And so we're going to look at, okay, now can we actually optimally close cold leads? Also going to strengthen your close rates on warm leads even more, right? But can we close cold leads, right? If we can, we're going to go ahead and audit your profitability. Okay, so what I mean by this is a lot of businesses, especially when they start or come to me, they don't price their jobs right. Their gross profit margins are really bad, like 10%, 20%. They have a lot of sub issues, whether they're, you know, or they're having too many overhead expenses. So what we do here is we audit your profitability. We say, what are your gross profit margins? We take a look at your, you know, your profit and loss statements, your cash flow statements, and we say, all right, are you an actual profitable business? And are you on track to being an actual profitable business, right? And in the first couple of years, you're probably not going to be very profitable. That's just how business works. But we want to see an upwards trend to that. Now, if you've been in business 10 years and you're in the red, we need to fix this, right? And so we look at your profit margins and say, are you a profitable business? How profitable are you? Okay. If it's not satisfactory, we're going to go and we're going to do pricing and estimate workshops, because that's, and look at your profits and loss and all that stuff, because this is going to be mainly where you're running into issues. Is either you got way too much overhead and you spend money on stuff that you don't need, or you don't know how to price your jobs right? And this is super important, is knowing your numbers. And so we're going to go into pricing and estimate workshops. We're going to teach you how to do that stuff, bring in people and experts that help you with that stuff as well. so that you can become more profitable. What we want to see here is probably 40 to 50% GP gross profit margins, right? And that's definitely doable if you know how to price your jobs. Plus, if you know how to sell your jobs, you can sell this at a bigger price if you're a better salesman, right? And so anything we do in this stage, we want to make you more profitable because that's going to add up in our bank account, right? It's going to allow us to do more. We can't get to a 7-figure business if we're not a profitable business, right? And we can't get there quicker if we're only profiting 5 to 10%, right? And so we want to make this as profitable as we can be, while still being able to close jobs and all that stuff, right? So that's the next thing, is profitability. And then once we fix that, we're going to look at your team, okay? And this is really where we talk about that second phase of Mr. Small Team in place, right? We want to know, our marker is, are you as a business owner in the field more than 50% of the time? If you are, we need to get you out of the field, right? And the things that we're doing before this are going to allow you to do this. We're not going to jump to this and say, you have no money, get out of the field, right? Sometimes you might be out of the field 50% and you're not profitable. And the solution is going to be, well, get back in the field and knock out jobs twice as fast so that you can become more profitable, right? And then we go back and audit your team. So are you in the field more than 50% of the time? If yes, we're going to go into our hiring funnels. Okay, we've run funnels for hiring through Facebook ads, through other things for people, to hire them full-on crews, full foreman plus crews. That allows them to build another crew to go out and double their profit, right? It allows them to step out of the business on being in the field every day. And now in the mornings, you're going to check on your team, you're going to sales calls, and you're actually running the business from the office. Okay, a lot of our clients that have gone through this with us are now out of the field at least 50%. A lot of them are 80% or more out of the field. They're working from home half the time with their family. Obviously, that's not always the best thing, but right, they're out of the field, they're out of the labor, and they have a team working for them. Okay, so we want to know, are you out of the field more than 50% of the time? If yes, we'll go ahead and go to productivity, right? If no, we want to make sure we're hiring people to get you out of the field more. Okay, so doing hiring funnels is going to be really, really important. Okay, the next thing we're going to look at is we're going to look at your productivity, because this is going to be the next bottleneck in your business. Okay, you have a team now, they're working for you, because you're out of the field, you got to give up a little bit of control, right? And so the next thing that starts to happen is it's taking longer to complete jobs. And this kind of goes back to profitability too. We look at this when we look at profitability, is how productive is your actual crew. And so why we want to know why the productivity levels are down. Is this an employee issue? But is it an employee issue on the basis of, are they just not trained to do the job well? Is it a leadership training issue from your standpoint as a business owner, or from your foreman, or from your project manager? Or is it a personal development on behalf of your employees? All this stuff needs to happen inside of a business to increase your productivity. Okay, we can do things inside of this like performance-based pay, right? Why we want to figure out why we're not productive, why you feel like you have the issues with your employees that you do, and we want to fix those issues. Okay, there's things that have been proven to work to increase productivity on the job site. Okay, and increased productivity means you're getting twice as much work done in the same amount of time, which means you're going to make more money, right? And so we're going to look at that, and we're going to say, what's the productivity look like on the job site? Can we make this better? If yes, we're going to go ahead and do that, right? And then we're going to move on to management, because this is the last kind of part of the puzzle to moving into a 7-figure CEO position, is you as a business owner. And I tell people all the time, sometimes the biggest bottleneck in somebody's business is the business owner. One that starts with mental, but it ends with management, right? And so owners can get in their own way a lot of times, right? And we want to make sure that that doesn't happen. Okay, so the last thing on here is, now we're profitable. We got a team in place. We're out of the business, or out of the field. Our team's productive, right? Culture's good, at least, productivity wise. Now we're going to look at management. How are you actually running your team, right? Now you're in a CEO position. This is what CEOs do. They manage a team, they delegate, right? And so how are you actually managing your team? And we're going to look at that. If it's something like, do you have clear processes, clear SOPs, clear roles, clear procedures for them? Is your culture good in your business? What is that looking like? Because the last thing we want is to hire people and then lose people, and then hire people and then lose people, right? And so we got to look at some of this stuff. Good culture can go into productivity for sure, but we want to say, is there a good culture in your business? Is it built to last? Are you going to keep these employees that you just hired for a long time down the road, right? And so if that requires us coming in and doing things like seven-figure CEO training and leadership training and management training and stuff like that, or once you get down the road, right, and maybe it requires us placing somebody in your business to be a CEO, an acting CEO. Again, it's not always everybody's like strength, right? And so our goal, our job is to come into businesses and identify areas of weakness, identify areas that we can improve people and do that, help them do that or do that for them. Okay, so we do seven-figure CEO training here. And then basically what this looks like, guys, is I want to go back and zoom out. And so we started wearing all the hats. Most of the time, we're going to start with mindset, move on to marketing, and then move on to sales, right? And then we're going to move on to profitability to make sure your business is set up in a way that is going to be successful long term. Okay, so now that we're successful long term, right, we're going to go ahead and say, all right, we're set up to go long term. Now we need to look at the team. We got to start getting ourselves out of the field. That's the second phase here, the Mr. Small team in place of getting, we're built to last. Now let's get out of the field and start running the business from a place where we can actually work on it. Okay, and then auditing your team, auditing your productivity and your management style is going to get you to become this kind of $1 million business CEO. So what this is going to allow you to do, guys, is once you become this CEO and you're managing your team and your business is set up really, really well and it's functioning on high levels, you're going to be able to build a multi-seven-figure business. It's going to be predictable, one, which is huge. It's going to be scalable too. So if you build it to 600,000, you already know how to build it to $1 million by doing more of the right thing, right? So predictable and scalable to continue to grow your business as high as you want. And then there's a level when you get here. If you're a huge business and you're doing 3 million a year, you got to start to put, you got to get a little corporate, right? But to get to 7 figures, that's all it really takes. And we've done this with multiple businesses of coming in and auditing everything in their business, auditing, the business owner themselves start auditing their team, auditing their management, auditing their productivity, their sales process, their marketing process, and placing the right systems, people, whatever that looks like, in place for them so that they can become a scalable business. And so once you get to that, you're a multi-7-figure, predictable, scalable business owner. It's going to allow you to get out of the field, start working on the business more instead of being in the business, because that's a vicious cycle. It's going to increase your cash flow in the business and personal cash flow. So you can increase your profitability, and it's going to allow you to actually do things that you want to do, right? A lot of our clients that we work with and go through this training, like I said, end up getting out of the field, make more money, spend more time at home because now they have a hard stop that they don't have to be at, right? Or they work from home half the time and they can have focused work for a few hours and spend time with their kids, right? And so this is kind of what it does. It allows you to get out of the field, it allows you to cash flow more, and it allows you to spend time with your family, among other things. But this is really the process. Like, there's not much more to it. Now, if you need some specific job training, right, obviously that's productivity. We're going to look at, like, can you actually build a retaining wall well? Like, are you not getting clients because you suck at that, right? So let's do some job training or whatever. But as far as bottlenecks in businesses of what we've come across for clients, this is it, right? Mindset, marketing, sales, profitability, team, productivity, and management. That's it. And honestly, they all turn into one another. If we come in and fix your marketing, you're going to have a sales issue. I already know it, right? I've seen it a million times, right? I'm getting a lot of leads. I don't know how to close them. Cool. Let's actually go figure out how to close them, right? And now I'm closing them and I don't know where my money's going, right? I feel like I have 500,000 in the bank and now I'm looking and I got $10,000. I don't know where it went. So we need to actually get you to say, are you profitable? If you are profitable, where's your money going? And then let's figure it out, right? And so this is like placing accountants if you don't have one already, but understanding your profit and loss statements and stuff like that, right? And then that's going to turn into team issues because you're getting out of the field, right? And so now it's giving up a little bit of control. I'm not in the field, right? It's not me doing it, it's somebody else doing it. I got to start to trust them a little bit. Well, getting there first, and then productivity is like, I got to trust them a little bit, but I also got to stay up on teaching them and making them the best they can be while continuing to love working for my business all the time. And the hardest thing to do is have employees that want to work as hard for your business as you do. But you have to create that culture as a business owner to make them want to show up every day, to make them want to work as hard as they can. And you could do things like I said, like pay by productivity and pay by performance models within business is really, really smart. But that's way down the road. We can't get to this until we fix the beginning. And so a lot of my clients, guys, before I take some questions here, if you two have any, but a lot of my clients come in and think they have a marketing issue, um, and they might, or they have a leads issue, but it's not really a leads issue. I look at their marketing plan, I'm like, dude, you're getting 50 leads a month. It's a sales issue. We got to fix your sales issue, right? Or it's, they have a team of 5 and they think they have a leads issue. And it's like, sometimes we have to make hard decisions and say, you got to lay off a few people and get healthy in your profitability first. You have a team of 5 and you're not profitable. You should not have a team of 5. You got to get your butt back in the field and work twice as hard right now for the short term, right? To start becoming profitable again. And then you go buy that new truck. Then you go hire that new employee to start getting back out. But the thing that happens is people try to skip steps in business and it ends up hurting them because you can't skip steps. Um, and so you never get to the goals you want to reach if you have to continue backtracking, right? And so this is the biggest thing. I hope it was clear for you guys. I try to make things as simple as I can, but this is the exact process that we've put into multiple businesses to actually turn them into 7-figure business owners. So that's kind of our deal. If you guys have a couple questions, I'll take it in 1 second. If you guys haven't seen our school group, make sure you guys join our school group. For you watching this replay, I could send you the link if you're interested and you watch this video, shoot me a message and ask me for the school group. I'll go ahead and send it to you. But if you guys have any questions, Kendall, Roberto, I'd love to take those. So just go ahead and unmute yourself if you do and let me know.
That you have, is it like on the group as well or not? Or not?
For what?
Like the chart that you're showing right now. Like,
Uh,
is there something that I could like print out or something?
I will take a screenshot of this for you. Yes. And I'll post it in the group.
Okay, yeah, that would be wonderful. That'd be
Okay,
great.
cool. Yeah, I'm also going to have this in the live training section on the group and on my YouTube channel, but I'll make sure I take a screenshot and go ahead and send it to you.
Okay, yeah, thank you.
Cool. Perfect. Perfect. Does this make sense? Is this good? Is this helpful?
Yeah, definitely. It's more you know, understanding. You know what I mean? Like, the step by step that you're actually saying. It's more that yeah. So it's not as confusing as without having proper steps of knowing what's going on.
Right. Yeah. And like I said, I've seen multiple businesses do this already, go through this. So I already know what the issues happen and where they're going to happen, which is why we built this out and built our program around it. Because it's like, all right, if somebody just wants leads and just wants marketing, like then what happens? They're going to have a sales issue and they don't have anybody to coach them through sales, or they don't have anybody to help them with that either. Right. And so
Right.
it becomes kind of a revolving door. It's like, okay, well, great. I fixed my marketing issue and I'm still not making money because I can't sell. Right. And so you need that. Or it's, I know how to sell really well, but I don't know how to price my job. So I'm still not making money.
Right. Right.
Right. So you need people to help you walk through that stuff. And that's why we built out each section of this to kind of help with that. So that's kind of what we do for sure. I know Kendall, I'm going to read her comment real quick. Going to need the recording. Oh, yeah, no worries. Yeah, definitely want to skip steps in urgent situations. I think in the world we live in, guys, like business cannot operate in a instant gratification kind of community like we live in, right? And so a lot of things we have the luxury in life of having things at our fingertips and saying, okay, well, I can look up anything on my phone in a matter of seconds, but business doesn't work that way. And a lot of people try to jump into business and say, I want to get to 7 figures, right, in the next year. And it just doesn't happen. You have to give business time to grow. And honestly, you got to give business time to allow you to make mistakes. You're going to make a ton of mistakes in business. And all those mistakes are going to help you grow, right? And each one of this roadmap is basically to say, this is the mistake you're going to make. This is how to fix it, right? So that you don't have to run into those so often, and it doesn't take you so much time getting out of them. And so we can't just skip the steps to get to the 7 figures to our goal. There's always going to be roadblocks in our roadmap, right? And so if this is point B over here with the 7 figures, and point A is where you are right now, like roadblock 1, let's get through it. Roadblock 2, roadblock 3, roadblock 4, right? And so there's always going to be steps and roadblocks in the way to get you to your goal. But everything you want is on the other side of this, guys. Like honestly. Um, and I'm going to go back to mindset of like just being an extremely uh, persistent mindset and somebody that has no other option and can outwork. Like I say outwork bad days a lot, but like everything you want is on the other side of like hard. That's what I say. Is like you have to get through this stuff to get to this point. And especially if you're in a business that has not been operating for more than 5 years, you have like you still have to go through all these growing pains. Like you haven't even touched them yet. And so understand that it's going to happen in your business journey, and pushing through them is the best thing you could do, because it's going to allow you to get to here quicker. And then once you can get to here, your business is going to, obviously it's going to have issues at times, but they're easier to fix because you know how to fix them. There's people in place to help you fix them, and help you be proactive about fixing them. So that's kind of it, guys. Does anybody else have any other questions?
I do have one more thing that I wanted to
Absolutely.
ask. So I don't have any marketing, like none at all. I have maybe a few posts on my Facebook from the last 3 years. We're pretty stagnant. But when I do get the jobs, it's usually just from like someone posting on Facebook or Nextdoor, and I'm like, hey, I could help you out with that. Just give me a call. Some word of mouth here and there. But I'm one of the things I'm worried about with picking up with the marketing, which at this point it's either do the marketing or we go out of business. My husband goes works for someone else. I'm a stay-at-home mom. It's the end of it.
Mhm.
Which we can't let happen. Like you said, it's one of those situations where this is our only option in life.
Totally.
So oh, did I just hang up? No, I didn't.
No, you're
Okay.
good.
Sorry. My toddler grabbed at the phone and you guys disappeared. So I'm worried about setting up the marketing. And then because I do believe that what we have, we would get quite a big surge of people coming in. But I don't have a sales process to handle any type of volume really. My closing rate on those jobs, it was sitting at 42% for the last 3 years. This year it dropped down to like 25. And I don't know if it's a year. I don't know if it's something I'm doing. I don't know if it's something my husband's doing. I'm not quite sure. One thing that I did notice is that when I use Jobber, and I really like Jobber for their request form on my website, when I use Jobber, my closing rate goes way down than when I use QuickBooks for some reason. So I'm wondering if it has anything to do with how the quotes are set up or anything like that, or how it's perceived maybe. But two questions, one being like kind of like how to handle that, maybe is it tied in? And then also wanting to know, do you think before setting up a marketing plan, it's a smart idea to get a sales process in place to handle the volume the marketing brings in? I don't want to like damage our reputation by not having all of our ducks in a row kind of thing.
Right. No, I understand. Yeah. So first one's a great question. I always teach in sales. I always teach in any big moment, you want to be as face to face as you can with somebody, whether that's in-person estimates or video estimates. I'm a big fan of not doing email estimates because of that, on cold leads especially. But even it's good practice to say, hey, if you're trying to close, I don't know the job size you guys are doing, but say it's $5,000, like that's a big decision for people. Just sending an email creates an opportunity for them to not to respond to you and not to voice any concerns, and it kind of blocks you from being able to voice or to answer to any of those concerns. So I would say the biggest thing is not how the quotes are sent out in terms of structure wise. It's probably more so just the quotes being sent out via email anyway is going to create a barrier or a tougher barrier of entry for that client and a friction point for that client. Like I have closed, I've closed a ton of jobs in my business, but over email, I've never closed a job just over text or email. It's always been in person. Like I'm 0 for like 20 in email. And so I can tell you firsthand, like it just doesn't work because I can't sit on a call now and say, hey, I know there's going to be an objection, right? $5,000 is a big decision, right? One, what are the concerns you have, right? And it allows you to answer to those concerns, right? If it's money, you figure that out, right? But also through the sales process, one of the big things I always say is ask why people want things done. And I know you're in siding and stuff like that, so it might be a little different, but still to create that rapport and understanding that what's going to separate you as a contractor is actually going to take their best interest in mind and say, why do you actually need this done, so that we can create a specialized plan for you, right? Because a lot of times the contract or the client doesn't necessarily know what they want. Like I do a lot of hardscape stuff, obviously, but if they want a patio, like they don't know. They know why they want that patio, but they don't know the most functional thing for them. And so that's one of the big things in sales. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was just thinking like that makes a lot of sense because we do a lot of cedar siding. That's just like our favorite. But what's like the bread and butter of our business really at this point is we do a lot of rot and leak repair.
Okay.
So people don't know what's going on. All the other contractors are coming telling them they need a whole new roof. So like a $7,000 to $10,000 gamble on, okay, you're gonna come fix this. But this guy said I need a new roof. So if you fix it, I'm out $7,000, still need a new roof. So I think that definitely, I didn't even think of being in person. To be honest, like, here's the quote. I send it at like 8 o'clock at night. Like I got it done. But yeah, that makes a lot of sense because then we could explain it better. Part of our business too is like we really like to educate people on what we're doing and why we're doing it. So like we'll explain, like we love some Yankee ingenuity. I'm up in Massachusetts. So if you've got a $3,000 budget and you just need a little fix to keep the water out for the next year, 2 years, I got you. I'll explain to you why we're doing it, explain why there's no warranty, or if you need something to button up, I can explain that too. So I give people a lot of options. So yeah, sorry, I'm like rambling, but yes,
No,
that's
totally. No, it makes a ton of sense. And just doing that, and it's hard too, because, smaller business owners tend to, like I said, wear more hats. So like sometimes you can't go in person if you're in the field all day or doing whatever, right? Or you got kids and it's just hard. So like having other things in place to where you can actually go and do that is something down the road that you need to be doing and making an effort to do that. But educating is huge. You can educate through your content very, very easily. But also, like you said, I always, when I come into a business and they're like, we want $40,000 jobs. And I said, what if the person only had $20,000? And they're like, oh, we want to take them. I'm like, why wouldn't you want to make $20,000? Right.
yeah, no kidding.
And so it's kind of okay, this is going to cost you 40,000. If their budget's 20,000, you shouldn't just be like, oh no, you can't afford it. It's like, okay, well, this is what we can do for 20,000 right now, right? That this would still get you to a point where, we can build a functional space for you or whatever that looks like. And then maybe next year you build the outdoor kitchen or whatever that is, right? And so you're working with people and educating them on, okay, I know what your budget is. I can create a customized plan for what you actually need right now is going to win you more jobs because you're being personal. And like I said, in-person quotes, Zoom quotes at the worst. Like set up Zoom meetings, because this is a lot easier for me to talk to you and sell to you when we're face to face rather than just an email, because like I said, it doesn't allow you the opportunity to address any objections, because everybody's going to have an objection in sales. Even when you win jobs, there's always going to be a question or something from people, and it doesn't allow them the opportunity to answer those questions.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yeah. And I think your second question was, what was the second question?
It was something to do with marketing.
Oh, the sales process before marketing.
Yes.
I kind of just answered that a little bit too, but yeah, I think there's got to be some sort of plan, right? And so really what we do with a lot of this is say, we don't go in blind and say, let's fix this and let's fix this. It's like, let's set up a roadmap just like this, right? To say, we want to get to here. Here's all the steps we need to get to, right? Sales process, we have to have something built in. Now we can go back and look at that sales process and refine that sales process, but let's just set it up now so that we're doing automations for marketing, right? And you understand how to sell to cold, how to get the best opportunities out of cold. Let's have that in place. And then when we get there and it's more of a logistical issue, right? It's like, this is now, I can't get to leads quick because I'm in the field or whatever. Let's place somebody in the business to help you do that, right? So, but yes, you should have some sales foundation in place before you take on any sort of marketing. Because if you get overloaded with leads and the bigger thing is going to be can't get to them quicker. That's the biggest thing. But if you have an influx of leads and you just don't know how to sell them, it's going to end up wasting your money.
Thank you.
No problem. All right, anything else, guys? Okay, cool. Well, again, I know you two are in my school group. If anybody else is watching and wants to join the school group, make sure you go ahead and do that. Send me a message. But I hope this is helpful for you guys. Like I said, this is the exact business plan that we put into place for all of our consulting clients when we do our consulting program. It's a 4-month program that we teach a lot of this stuff to. It doesn't take 4 months to get to 7 figures. It takes a lot longer than that, but we kind of start teaching the basics of what this is. At the 4-month mark, we're probably getting into profitability, to be honest with you. And then beyond that, we're looking at how to actually scale from there. But it takes a while to get the foundations in, but you got to have people that know and it can identify where you're weak and to have solutions already. So you don't have to take 4 months to just figure out how to get a good marketing plan. Someone could just come in and do it for you. And so hope that helps you guys. I'm going to do more live trainings, probably hopefully weekly. I'm going to do a live training or some type of podcast or something for you guys. So if there's a good time, comment in the school group. If there's a great time for you guys, my schedule is going to allow me to do it around this time and then have the replays, but I might be able to do some later stuff too. So go ahead and comment in there. And then, yeah, I'll see you guys next time, but I appreciate you guys coming in and watching it, and anybody that watches on the replay. And then if you need to reach me, you can reach me through the school group. You could reach me on my Facebook, or you can reach me at tyler@fastbreakdigitalmedia.com. That's the name of the consultancy. So again, thank you guys for stopping by and watching this, and hope you guys learned a little bit of something. My goal is to you guys leave everything that I do with some sort of knowledge or something learned every time we do something. So that's it for this one, guys, and we'll see you guys next time.
All right, thank you. Have a great one, man.
See you later.